It's Monday, July 1. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Carol Francis. It's summer. In keeping with recent annual trends, there is an expected increase in the breeding of mosquitoes, including those that carry the dengue virus. In anticipation, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will, starting today, ramp up its vector control program. This includes the unveiling of an enhanced public education and media campaign. Other planned activities include home inspections, the destruction of breeding sites by 1,000 temporary vector control workers, and island-wide fogging by health departments in each parish.
Members of the public are encouraged to play their part to control mosquito-borne diseases by keeping their surroundings free of debris, destroying or treating potential mosquito breeding sites, wearing protective clothing, using a DEET-containing mosquito repellent, and as much as possible staying indoors at dusk with windows and doors closed. Some persons may develop severe dengue, which can lead to severe dehydration and can also cause hemorrhagic manifestations, including bleeding, including internal bleeding, which can lead to death. Immediate medical attention should be sought once a person with a fever begins to vomit or have severe abdominal pain, any bleeding under the skin, or feel very weak or get confused.
The Cornwall Regional Hospital has added a standalone radiology unit which will improve the services presently being offered. Constructed at a cost of $45 million, it boasts the latest digital technology and facilities for in-house X-rays, CT scans, and ultrasound services. Cornwall Regional is a Type A hospital. It is the only hospital outside of Kingston that provides most of the specialist health services required on the island. The Cornwall Regional Hospital is undergoing renovation to address a number of issues. Repair work is currently being done on the roof, the ventilation system, inner plumbing and electrical fixtures. The rehabilitation of the hospital, which is expected to be completed by November, is being undertaken at a cost of approximately $3.5 billion. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett is reportedly reviewing a comprehensive island-wide security audit report on this sector. Minister Bartlett commissioned the security audit to ensure that the destination remains safe and secure for locals and visitors. The audit was carried out by the Tourism Product Development Company, TPDCO, with support from an international security expert. The findings will be used to help reshape safety and security in the sector. Minister Bartlett says on completion of the review, the public will be informed on the steps to be adopted. Additionally, the highly anticipated report from the Tourism Working Group, headed by PricewaterhouseCoopers, is reportedly ready. The working group was established by Mr. Bartlett to conduct a comprehensive review of issues in the sector, including entertainment, work permits, and transportation. The debate on the Petroleum Amendment Act 2019, which opened in the Senate last Friday, has been deferred for completion at a later date. It seeks to, among other things, transfer the rights and obligations of the Petro-Caribbean Development Fund to the government of Jamaica. The proposed legislation was piloted by a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Pernell Charles Jr.
And this amendment, colleagues, deletes the provisions of Part 3A, which, among other things, established the Petro-Caribbean Fund. Mr. President, this amendment also deletes the two schedules of which I noted, which outline the constitution of the fund and the constitution of the Board of Management, respectively. Subclause 1 of Clause 4, Mr. President, specifies that any monies held in any bank account in the name of or standing credit of the Petro-Caribbean Fund shall be credited to the consolidated fund. Mr. President, colleagues will note that any monies paid into the consolidated fund on behalf of the Petro-Caribbean Fund must be used in the payment of any existing liabilities of the fund.
Under Part 3A of the Petroleum Act, the fund was charged with the responsibility of managing, among other things, the proceeds which accrue to Jamaica under the Energy Cooperation Agreement entered into between the governments of Jamaica and Venezuela.
The functions of the Petrocaribe Fund, Mr. President, also included receiving loan payments from borrowers from the fund, receiving other proceeds which might accrue from the investments of the fund, financing projects and programs, and settling debt service obligations of Jamaica for the purchase of oil and the petroleum products under the Petrocaribe Agreement or any other bilateral agreements between Jamaica and the Republic of Venezuela. Mr. President, the Petrocaribe Fund has fulfilled its mandate.
As Jamaica seeks to ramp up exports to regional markets, 7 local manufacturers and suppliers of food, personal care and irrigation products are part of a trade mission to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago from today through to Thursday, July 4. The mission is being led by executives of Jamaica Promotions Corporation, JAMPRO, and the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association. It will see local suppliers engaging Trinidadian stakeholders and producers. The participating entities include Caribbean Cream Limited, Crafton Holdings Limited, the Continental Baking Company, Sankard Company, Seprod, Wisinco, and Isratec Jamaica Limited. The role of churches in education is seen as extremely important and of immense value. This was one of the themes accentuated recently by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in his address to graduates of Campion College. The annual graduation ceremony for 5th form students at the Campion College was held recently. Principal Grace Baston underscored the point that the faith-based education at Campion is focused not just on intellectual values or training people for employment. She noted it's also a place where an array of other values, including social justice, environmental awareness, and integrity, are actively lived. Guest speaker at the commencement exercise, Prime Minister Andrew Holness lauded the role of the church in helping to lay a solid academic and social foundation in the lives of students.
Church-run institutions dominate by far the top 50 schools in Jamaica. As parents, you interact with this school regularly and probably with other schools. And I'm sure you will agree that church-run institutions provide a higher level of governance through their board. They ensure greater accountability of the principal and management. They are able to mobilize a resource base larger than the school itself. But most importantly, they uphold a higher standard of moral leadership and the promotion of a culture of excellence in education. Allow me, therefore, to use this platform to personally acknowledge and commend the work of the Catholic Church in maintaining such consistently high standards for Campion College. And allow me also to extend this commendation to the wider church community for the sterling work they have done in maintaining the delivery of high-quality education in Jamaica.
He also had high praise for parents.
I know the sacrifices parents make to get their children to this point. Some parents do everything short of taking the exams. Some parents did. So today is not only an achievement for the students, the graduates. It is also very much an achievement for the parents and indeed the entire family. So let me acknowledge and commend all the hardworking and dedicated parents who put in the late nights to help with the homework.
Campion College has, since its inception 59 years ago, trained some of Jamaica's finest leaders. The ceremonial mace is an ornamental staff used in Jamaican parliamentary ceremonies and sessions. Without the mace, Parliament cannot lawfully meet, debate, or pass laws. The mace was recently refurbished by renowned Canadian conservator Alexander Gabov. Marlon Samuels has more in this special report.
At the start of the sittings of Jamaica's Parliament and the Senate, a silver gilt and gold ornamental club about 5 feet in length is carried into the chamber. It is a historic symbol of authority. It's called a mace and dates back to the 1700s.
This is a symbol of authority, representing Her Majesty. Without the mace, procedures of Parliament laws cannot be enacted, repealed, or made. The mace acts as that authority. Not only acts as authority, but is placed in the correct position in the Parliament as well.
We have 2 maces in Jamaica. We have 2 houses, and each house has its own mace. So but both of them perform the same function, representing the monarch.
During the Great Earthquake, 1692, the original mace was destroyed, got damaged. Therefore, a resolution was made for a new mace to be made in England. So the instruction was given in 1692, and we got the Senate's mace in 1753. From hence, we have been using the Senate mace until later in years, we got a second mace, that came about in 1757, and we have been using that mace since. The maces are stored in a strong room in the Speaker's office, and that strong room has 2 locks to it. So it is in a safe area and cannot be entered unless it is the Speaker or the Marshal to the Houses of Parliament. There are slight variation in design in that the House of Representatives mace does not have the coat of arms. However, the Senate mace do have the coat of arms on it. Also, the House mace, the crown portion is a bit larger than the Senate mace.
Ceremonial maces are brought to each meeting of the House. So before the meeting convenes, the mace bearer, in our case the Marshal to the Houses, enters the chamber with the presiding officer. So in the case of the House, it would be the Speaker of the House, and with the Senate, it would be the Senate President. Once the members have said their prayers and the Speaker invites them to sit, the mace is placed on the table of the House. The table of the House is that piece of furniture that sits in front of the clerk's desk, and we have on it the laws of Jamaica. So the mace is placed on this. So as long as the House is in session, sitting as the House and not committee, the mace is on the table. If the House goes into committee, of the whole House that is, then the mace is placed below the table until the House reconvenes, when it goes back to its place for the House to have the authority to sit as the House, or the Senate as the case may be.
The flanged end or the head of the mace looks like a crown. It is carried on the Marshal's shoulder. The mace is engraved with various symbols.
The catalyst supports the crown, and this is actually the structure is in 4 parts. So this represents the support to the crown.
Without its presence in the chamber, Parliament cannot lawfully meet, debate, or pass laws.
If you disrespect the mace, it's as good as disrespecting the monarch. So as long as the House is in session or the Senate is in session, the mace has to be on the table of the House.
At each sitting, the mace is carried at the head of the Speaker's procession by the Marshal.
Order of the Parliament, in terms of the chamber and the gallery, is the remit of the Marshal. If the President or the Speaker sees anything that is going awry, he will ask the Marshal to lend a hand in maintaining that order and discipline in the chamber and also in the gallery.
Over the last 20 years, only the mace constructed in 1787 was being used. The 1753 mace was in dire need of cleaning and refurbishing.
They were falling apart, you know, little pieces of them getting broken, getting bent. It was just, they were getting frail and not being addressed. And, you know, we've had to put down one, not work with it at all, because we realized that it would do it more harm than good. And if we didn't repair both of them, restore both of them, the two of them would have gone that same direction. So we tried to get this expertise, and through the facility, Canada, the Canadian Parliament, put us in touch with the person we have now doing the work.
Renowned Canadian conservator Alexander Gabov was employed to repair and refurbish both maces. Work on the 1753 mace has been completed. Work is currently being done to repair the 1787 mace. Once both maces have been repaired, the 1753 mace will be used for Senate meetings. The 1787 mace will be used for sittings of the House of Representatives.
The marshal to the houses does the everyday operation in relation to getting it, you know, now he's the person who sees to it that is cleaned periodically. And now we're actually going to be trying to train other persons to assist in the maintenance process so that we don't have to invite somebody once every 300 years to come and address this. So what we're going to be trying to train persons in the use and care of the maces.
Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Marlon Samuels.
Family, friends, and colleagues gathered at the Kencott Seventh-day Adventist Church for this service of thanksgiving for the life of educator and political commentator Martin Henry. They reflected with gratitude on the quality of his life, level of integrity, and the difference he made in people's lives.
Many of us are still coming to terms with the fact that the usual on-point, clear, contextually sound, morally founded analysis of Martin Henry will not be with us in this way again. Many, especially those in our newsrooms, remain shaken by the loss of Martin and the powerful demonstration of how it is that we are here in one moment and gone the next. However, we take comfort in this case that the example that Martin has left for us, an example of fairness in commentary, that we should value preparation, that there is necessity for clear context in what we do, the ever-presence of a morally sound foundation from which to analyze and debate are key lessons for all media workers to hold steadfastly to.
Martin, we shall certainly uphold that mission, even as we surely miss your exceptional contributions to NIA. Towards this end, with the approval of the NIA's board and with the kind endorsement of Jackie and the family, I am in discussion with the executive of the Press Association of Jamaica regarding the most appropriate way for NIA to sponsor an annual recognition of Martin's outstanding role in upholding the principles of good governance.
The university is contemplating, subject to the necessary protocols, establishing in his honor the annual Martin Henry Award for the best research publication. Martin's sudden passing reminds us of the frailty of life, and that we should live and do good and make every day count while we are alive. The story is told of a man being asked how he wished to be remembered after death. He pondered the question for a short time, and then he answered, "I simply hope to be remembered."
In regional news, Barbados and Antigua will begin negotiations on the sale of Liat shares. A team is slated to travel to Barbados today to discuss the matter.
Chief of Staff in the Office of the Prime Minister in Antigua, Lionel Hurst, said a team will travel to Barbados for talks on Monday. If the negotiations are successful, the Antigua government will significantly increase its 34% stake in the airline. Barbados is currently LIAT's largest single shareholder with 47% of the shares in the Antigua-based airline. Earlier this month, Prime Minister Mia Mottley formally announced plans to offload most of those, but she insisted her government remains committed to regional transportation and would keep a minimum shareholding in the carrier.
Antigua's Foreign Affairs Minister Paul Green says the Organization of American States, OAS, is in need of urgent reform to be more relevant and capable of dealing with current challenges.
Now, addressing the plenary session of the 49th General Assembly of the OAS on Thursday, he listed climate change as one of the urgent issues. He said the OAS fails in its responsibility when it neglects to deal with this deadly danger, and he said it is not sufficient to suggest that the UN Committee on Climate Change handles the issue. Now, Green contended that matters of this magnitude merit the attention of the OAS because they are material to the welfare of all.
Leaders of the British Overseas Territories say they will stand together to defend their right to self-government. This position comes after what is seen as a constitutional overreach by the United Kingdom. We have more in this Cayman 27 news report.
The common position of the overseas territories who are involved in financial services is that when public registers of beneficial ownership become a global standard,
that's right,
we are there.
Until then, says Premier Alden McLaughlin, the overseas territories must resist. A notion supported by leaders of other UCOTA member states present for the pre-JMC talks.
We have already made a stand that we are also going to wait until it's a global standard.
British Virgin Islands Premier Andrew Fahey says pressure to adopt the public registries could jeopardize his jurisdiction's ability to pay back UK hurricane recovery loans.
You cannot be putting territories, backing them in a corner, and you have to understand how our economies work.
For OTs without a large financial services component like Montserrat, the issue is imposition.
Whether it's beneficial ownership, same-sex marriage, or whatever. Imposition is what is being proposed. So we stand with our territories, sister territories, who are affected seriously.
You can't dictate from Westminster. You can't legislate from Westminster for UK overseas territories.
For the overseas territories, the issue is fairness of play.
In sports, we kick off with football. Jamaica has secured their third straight CONCACAF Gold Cup semi-final after scoring a 1-0 win over Panama. The Reggae Boys' goal came from a Darren Mattox penalty in the 75th minute. In the next fixture, the United States defeated Curacao 1-0 to book a showdown with the Reggae Boys in Nashville, Tennessee on Wednesday. And in athletics, Elaine Thompson and Daniel Thomas Dodd were the top Jamaicans at the IAAF Diamond League Prefontaine Classic in California on Sunday. Nigeria's Blessing Okambari got the better of Thompson in the 200 meters, winning it in 22.05 seconds. Thompson finished second in 22.21 seconds. Thomas Dodd, the Commonwealth champion, was second in the shot put with a throw of 19.26 meters. World and Olympic champion Omar McLeod finished third in the 110 meters hurdles, stopping the clock at 13.29 seconds. National champion Ronald Levy was fourth in 13.30 seconds. The race was won by Orlando Ortega of Spain. And in the women's 100 meters, Shelley Ann Fraser-Price had to settle for eighth in her pet event, clocking 11.39 seconds. Ivorian athlete Marie Talou won in 11.20 seconds. And that's our news product. Thanks for watching. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place for more news right here on PBCJ, the People's Station.